Hello, Internet. Today it is very hot and I am a little bit sick, so I do not want to make interesting tasting notes and give precise ratings to anything. I just want something refreshing to drink. I've already done a whole bunch of sort of sour themed cocktail videos. They're just fun. They feel like something a little bit different. I got out of cocktailing years and years ago, and it's kind of pulling me back in. Like a lot of the time, I just don't want to power through it, leaving my bottles and my glassware in the air conditioning, and then just trying to. Sometimes I just want something cold and refreshing, you know. So we're gonna do cocktails. I will say though, the one sour I've never got along with really is the Sidecar. I've always found the Sidecar to be just really hard to get right. Either there's too much lemon or not enough. There's too much sugar or not enough. It's always felt very kind of like just hard to get right. And I've always thought that you should be able to add something else in there to kind of tie it together and get the balance going. But I never gave it enough thought to figure out what that might be. Coming back to sours now, 10 years past my last experiments, I discover what has caught on is something they're calling the Brandy Crusta, which is we're going back to the early days of the cocktail. Jerry Thomas's early 1860s book on this stuff. And if you Google this, Google a contemporary recipe for a Brandy Crusta, and what you will find is what looks like a Sidecar with a bunch of other stuff kind of thrown in. So you will see brandy, probably cognac. You will see lemon juice. You will see some kind of orange liqueur, either a triple sec or a curacao pot distilled brandy infused kind of thing. But then you will also see maraschino added in, and you will see bitters, usually specified as Angostura, thrown in as well. And then you will see a crazy garnish. You will see a sugared rim and like this long strip of lemon peel that's kind of been wrapped inside of the glass. And that they are calling that a Brandy Crusta. Here's the problem. If you actually go back to the original Jerry Thomas cocktail manual, which is like one of the daddies of the field, right? And you look up the Brandy Crusta, what you will find is that it is a variation on the fancy brandy cocktail. And the fancy brandy cocktail is itself a variation on the brandy cocktail. What is a brandy cocktail, you ask? Well, I will read it off to you. Brandy cocktail, 3 or 4 dashes of gum syrup, so a very, very thick, viscous sugar syrup. 2 doses of bitters. He specifies Bogarts here, so probably Becker's. No one has an argument that it isn't Becker's, put it that way. A wine glass of brandy, 1 or 2 dashes of curacao. So curacao, pot distilled brandy infused with orange peel. Squeeze lemon peel. Fill 1/3 full of ice. Stir with spoon. So you're stirring all this stuff with ice. If you want to make it a fancy brandy cocktail, you are going to strain that into a wine glass, apparently, and so no ice included in the glass anymore. And you were going to garnish by throwing a lemon peel, little cut lemon peel, into it, and you were going to rub the stem of the glass with a little bit of lemon juice. So you add on for the Brandy Crusta, as written in this manual. What you were adding to that is then, there's 3 big changes. The first big change is the garnish. It's your in addition to the lemon juice rimmed glass, you were adding sugar on top of the rim, right? Then you were adding a long ass strip of lemon peel that goes inside. And second change, you were adding an ice cube. Third change, you were actually squeezing some of the lemon juice into the mixture itself. So that's what gets people excited about this. That's where people say, oh, it's a predecessor to the Sidecar, is they're looking at that little squeeze of lemon juice in there. The problem is, if you kind of compare this, what Jerry Thomas is telling you, to a contemporary recipe, it's really quite different. The garnish instruction is the same, right? But number one, like the balances are all different. The Jerry Thomas recipes are all very, very booze forward. You're just kind of like decorating them up a little bit with some other stuff. Incidentally, if you were listening to this and frustrated by the vagueness, that like how big is a wine glass of brandy? How much is a dose of bitters? First, well, welcome to the Jerry Thomas cocktailing manual. That's just how it is. Sorry, but so far as anyone can tell, these are just meant to be very booze forward drinks. The contemporary Brandy Crusta is not. It is much more balanced off between the lemon juice and the other stuff. And in the original Jerry Thomas recipe, there is no maraschino. Did I mention that? So that was the big change. I'm sorry. Go back to that. The modern recipe sort of sounds like a sidecar upon which you have added a little bit of maraschino liqueur and some bitters. That's pretty much what it sounds like, along with the crazy garnish, right? So if you compare like the vintage recipe to the modern ones, you may be thinking, whence the maraschino? Where is that coming from? Also, for that matter, where is the Angostura bitters coming from? Here's the thing. I don't know. I'm guessing that the folks are gonna say this is a modern twist on the classic, right? Which is what you have to say with all of the, Jerry Thomas recipes. But if you look to the second edition of Thomas's book, you will find a recipe that has gotten very, very, very famous among whiskey nerds, which is the improved cocktail. He starts off with the improved brandy cocktail, but then there's a variation, which is the whiskey cocktail, which is really, really caught on. And what that is it, well, so go back to, start with the, it's basically the cocktail, the brandy cocktail, where you were subbing out for the curacao. You're subbing out the curacao and you were putting in a dash of absinthe and a little bit of maraschino. And also there he gives the option that you can use Angostura bitters if you want. And this has given birth to an entire industry of improved whiskey cocktails. So I am wondering if the contemporary Brandy Crusta is not so much a result of people's trying to update the original Brandy Crusta as someone thinking, what if we were to combine a sidecar with an improved whiskey cocktail, but subbing the whiskey for brandy, which is great. I appreciate that. It's just that then you add the Crusta garnish and you're calling it a Brandy Crusta when it's kind of a different sort of drink. Now, so this is me getting picky about semantics, I suppose. So you may accuse me of being a cocktail originalist, I suppose. But I would prefer to think, so first of all, I don't care about the garnish thing. Sugared rims has never been my thing. But I do like the idea of improving the sidecar, and particularly the idea of adding in the maraschino. So today I'm not going to be making a Brandy Crusta because there will be no Crusta and crust and no long lemon strip. What I am going to be making is call it an improved sidecar. We're making a sidecar with that is basically throwing in some maraschino and some bitters. You can also add absinthe if you want. I'm not going to do that, but you can add absinthe if you want on top of the sidecar basics. So let's get started. I've got my mixer here, which has got some water in it still. All right, so first of all, let's add the sidecar-y stuff. I'm not going to juice a lemon on camera again because I almost broke this table last time I did it. So here is my 3/4 ounces of lemon juice, and it goes. Also, 1/2 ounce of, I'm going to use a Curacao style brandy based orange liqueur, in this case Grand Marnier. But if you're going to follow my lead on this, I am going to suggest, in addition to the Grand Marnier, there we go, a teaspoon or a bar spoon of simple syrup. Because I find that, oh, where the hell's the teaspoon? There we go. The Grand Marnier on its own just isn't bringing enough sweetness to this. So, can you use gum syrup if you're a total nerd? You absolutely can. In any case, teaspoon or bar spoon of simple. Sorry. Put these down. And now we're going to add the improved cocktail part of this. So, 1/4 ounce of where are the ounces? A little more. 1/4 ounce of maraschino liqueur. Do not overdo it with this. This is pungent stuff. Okay. That goes down. And you can add absinthe to this. You absolutely can. I found it kind of getting lost in the recipe, so what I did instead was I added an extra dose of Peychaud's instead of Angostura. I find Peychaud's adds a little bit of that anisey thing. You get an absinthe, but it kind of comes out better here than actually adding absinthe. So 3 dashes of that. Also, the Peychaud's just makes it feel a little more New Orleans-y. And then we got our base. So you need a brandy. And I am going to use Cobra Fire Evil Force. They are not calling it an Armagnac, but it is an Armagnac. 100% full blanche. Very fresh, very kind of smooth and woody. Come on. I really hate the glass top on that. And I'm going to do 2 ounces of base, but I am going to use a split base for this. So we're going to do 1 ounce of Cobra Fire, and then another 3/4 ounces for a total of 1 3/4 ounces of the base brandy. And then on top of that, just for aromatics, just for fun, I'm gonna throw in some pisco. I'm gonna add 1/4 ounce of this Albilla pisco, which is one of the aromatic style related to Moscato. Just up the aromatics a little bit. And then you throw in some ice. Not used to cocktailing on camera, as you can tell. I'm going to set up my glass. I'm going to use a stemless wine glass. Something fun and sort of halfway in between a rocks glass and a actual wine glass, which seems appropriate for this kind of recipe. And then I'm going to shake the bejesus out of this and strain it into the glass. So, yeah, that fun salmon color is what it tells you you're using the Peychaud's. Oh, that's fun. Okay, I'm gonna dump what remains in here. Leave that for a moment. Okay, and garnish this. I'll express a little bit of lemon oil. There we go. Drop it right in, and this is it. An improved Sidecar. Oh, goddamn, that's good. Yeah, so it's really kind of the lemon ruling the show, as in the Sidecar, but and the Cobra Fire is really providing a nice kind of smooth oaky base to this. But then it's the halo of other stuff that's kind of making this work. Pulling this together. Oh, that's really nice. The only problem you could point out with this is that the Cobra Fire Evil Force might not be the most assertive of bases involved here, because a lot of what it's doing is just providing some delicious French oaky sorts of notes. Even with the pisco thrown in, it isn't, particularly assertive as a base. So if you wanted to make a different version of this, you could try, a different brandy, right? Because the original recipe, at least, doesn't specify what kind of brandy it needs to be. Well, you assume grape-based, but it doesn't have to be. So you could use anything you want, right? You could, in fact, use some fruit brandies. So I've done some experiments with this, and my absolute favorite version is the one with Copper and King's pear brandy. This makes an absolutely killer improved sidecar. So I'm going to give myself 2 full ounces of this. Come on. I'm not going to make you watch me sort of mix all the ingredients again. That would be torturous. So as they say, here is one I prepared earlier. That's got everything. There we go. Just need a little bit of ice. Cocktailing on camera is awkward. That on. Bring out my new glass. Get it all lemoned up. And again, shake the bejesus out of it. And there we go. That is our pear brandy, improved brandy cocktail with a little lemon peel dropped in as garnish. Oh my god. Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah, if you were complaining about the base not speaking up in this, this is the answer. Oh. Both really, really, really good drinks. And now I have to finish both of them, so I will be out of commission probably for the rest of the afternoon. Thank you for watching, and cheers.